So, FM22 got announced a few days ago. It's coming out in a few weeks. Can't wait. Also means that on this save, potentially my biggest success will be not bottling the playoffs three years in a row in League One. So, yeah. Or my biggest achievement could also be bottling the Championship playoffs, which, by the looks of it, everyone, looks like we're going to be taking part of. So, yeah, a lot of pressure. Hopefully we'll get into the Premier League and win the Premier League within 4 weeks. Going to be difficult, but... Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 56 of the Sunderland Till I Die series here on Football Manager 2021. And of course, if you're enjoying this series or any of the videos released on this channel, make sure you hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell to be alerted when these videos are released. So, there was a little bit of worry after last episode that I could potentially be getting out the playoffs with that 2-0 embarrassing defeat at the hands of Swansea away from home. We were a little bit worried that, you know, the losses were going to come thick and fast and we would end up outside the playoff spots. But ladies and gentlemen, I'm happy to announce that I'm not a bottle job and we've actually been winning plenty of games since you were last here. Only having... 2 losses against Hull and Sheffield United, who are pretty good teams in the Championship, and we currently sit in 5th place with only a 3-point gap between Blackburn and Sunderland. So there is potentially still a small opportunity for me to completely screw this up, but I'm confident with only 8 games to go in the rest of the season. I'm pretty confident that the playoffs are secure, which does mean when we go into the next few episodes, the episode after this one will be the final 2 games, which will be Nottingham Forest and a Derby. And then, of course, if we do get into the playoffs, touch wood, I don't know, get your mind out the gutter. My desk is wood. I'm touching that many, many times to hope I don't bottle this completely. We will then have the playoffs in a separate episode, and then if we get promoted, there's going to be party times, and we're going to have to hire the bus, and yeah, it's going to be splendid, ladies and gentlemen. It's going to be absolutely bloody splendid. What isn't splendid is the fact that I have minus, that's right, minus, I didn't even know this was possible, 578,000 in the transfer budget. And we are losing quite a lot of money per month, where I do think we're probably going to end up in the red at the end of this year. So that promotion to the Premier League is pretty vital. It's pretty important to the club that we get that parachute payment, I think it is. Does that come at the end of the year or during the Premier League year? I'm not too sure. But we desperately need that sort of injection of cash. Hopefully the board will also contribute to that coming towards the end of this year. But we are going to be in the red by the looks of it going into the end of this Championship year. So that, as I said, that Premier League promotion is pretty vital, and hopefully we'll be able to get a little bit of transfer budget if we do get promoted to invest in the squad. Because if we go into the Premier League with this squad, there's no two ways about it, but we will get absolutely torn apart. We'll probably beat Derby's record of 12 or 13 points from 10 years ago, if you remember that, when they were in Premier League, and it was like watching a bunch of 7-year-olds playing a park. It was the equivalent watching, when you're in high school, watching the year 7s go against the year 11s. That's what watching Derby was like, and I'm worried that we will be the year 7s and the entire Premier League teams will be the year 11s, and it'll be an embarrassment, and we're going to lose 4 of our best players, Marcinho, Picker and Swedberg and Smallbone, coming into next year. So that's going to be splendid. Yeah, I need money. That's what I'm trying to get at. I really, really need money. If it gets that embarrassing, we'll just hire Robbie Savage and ask him to captain our team. Or what we could do, if it gets really, really bad, we could do the whole half-time thing. You know, when they're all out in the middle of the pitch and, you know, they start pointing. I'm going to do that if we do start losing lots of games, because that is a prime motivator. Who was the manager that did it again? Ah, yes, Phil Brown, legend of the Premier League. I'm going to follow in the footsteps of Phil Brown. Doesn't sound as impressive now that I'm talking about it. And as we go into the final few games of the season, we actually have a pretty nice run-in against teams that are all in like the bottom 10, some of them fighting for relegation. Of course, in today's episode, we are playing against Preston, who are currently situated in 23rd place. And then we have the likes of Sheffield Wednesday, Bristol City, Luton, Huddersfield and Birmingham. Like, they're not, no disrespect to any of them teams, of course, but they're not brilliant, are they? They're not fantastic teams. So if we can win of the final, 6 games, if we can get 4 wins, I'm pretty confident that we're going to secure playoffs, and then we can go into the final episode against Forest and Derby with a little less pressure. Obviously, the teams around us are probably going to be winning games as well, unless they absolutely bottle it. So we are going to have to keep an eye on teams below us. The chances of us catching Watford is just non-existent. So I would like to get 3rd if possible, so we can have an easier match going into the playoffs. But they are 7 points clear of us with 8 games to go. So it's going to be very, very difficult. Even if we get above Swansea, it'll be pretty nice. So fingers crossed we can do that. But of course, since the last episode, as previously mentioned, was that 2-0 loss against, 3-1 loss against Swansea away from home. A very, very poor result. And we've managed to pick ourselves up and dust ourselves down. Some absolutely fantastic wins in this period of time. 6 wins and 2 losses. A very good win. A 6-1 win against QPR, and then a very, very poor result against Hull, who are in 10th place. So a very weird result against Hull there. And then we haven't been keeping many clean sheets, actually. This did come to my attention as I was playing these games. We haven't kept a clean sheet in a while. We haven't kept a clean sheet since December, and we're now in March. And that is a little bit of concern. And honestly, I think our defence is probably our sort of best sort of part of our team. You know, we've got some really good defenders with Jimmy Dunn and Sam Hughes, the Virgil van Dijk, Sergio Ramos Championship equivalent, Harry Pickering and Marcinho, who's Trent Alexander-Arnold and Roberto Carlos in my eyes. So for us to be conceding goals is quite surprising, with them 4 in defence. But as long as we're beating teams, that is all that matters. Now, going into the games of the episode, I'm sure you know the games of the episode and what they're going to be. The first one's going to be a 6-1 win at home to QPR. QPR in 14th place, so it could have been a very much a banana skin type game, but we didn't let that get to us. Smallbone with 2 goals, Edmondson with 2 goals, Dobson with 1, and our defender Sam Hughes with 1. And it was just goals, 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 and chances galore in this game against QPR. Absolutely dominated, and for once, what feels like quite a long time I've said in an episode, we actually deserve to score this many goals. Our expected goals are 3.14, 18 shots, 12 on target. Absolutely destroyed them. And I'm surprised Guisson didn't get himself on the score sheet. He's the only player with a pretty poor rating, done with a 6.8. But for the majority of our side, really, really good performances. Edmondson, as I said, with 2 goals. Smallbone with 2 goals, who's had a pretty good record since he's come in. 5 goals, 4 assists in 12 appearances. So really, really good for Smallbone there. Unfortunately, we weren't able to keep the clean sheet, which was the biggest disappointment of this game. They did get themselves a goal just before half-time to make it 3-1. And there was a little bit of sort of anxiety as they scored, because I was like, please don't let me bottle this. Please don't make this become a game where it's like 3-3 and they score in the 91st minute. We've all had that game. We have all had that game at some point, and you know exactly what I mean. Thankfully, we scored 3 goals in pretty quick succession. 11 minutes. Smallbone, Sam Hughes and Edmondson getting themselves on the score sheet. And overall, very, very dominant display. QPR couldn't deal with our attacking talent, and we made them pay. So, yeah, 3 points in the bag. Fantastic result. But unfortunately, for every positive, there is a negative. And that negative did come at the hands of Hull, an away tie, where in a game that I don't think we deserved to lose 4-0, like Hull were just very, very clinical. Like they honestly, every chance that they had, it felt like they were scoring, and we just didn't have a response to the goals that they were scoring. Very, very poor display from the attacking side, especially. We did have a goal disallowed in the 87th minute, but with our 3 shots in target and 8 shots overall, we didn't really look like threatening throughout the entire 90 minutes. Hull didn't have a lot of shots, with only 2 more than us, but 7 on target, and we're just, as I said, lot more clinical than us. They probably did deserve to win, but they definitely didn't deserve to win 4-0. Not one single positive performance from any of our players. And we did have to play Basie in goal, as Burge was injured, I believe it was. I think he was injured just for this game. And Hull had some pretty good performances as well. Only 2 players, Hayes and Thompson, with a not so positive rating. But yeah, we won a game 6-1. We lost the game 4-0. Thankfully, we didn't let that get to us, as we did continue to win. But yeah, a bit frustrating. I felt like we could have definitely won this game, but you're going to have games like this, right? And we managed to continue winning games, thankfully. We then had 2 games where the opposition did get a man sent off. Reading, Tom McIntyre getting himself sent off, and Oxford, Bradley Ludham getting himself sent off as well. Fairly early on in the game, actually, so that definitely contributed to our victories. Peterborough, a 4-2 victory. Croissant getting himself a hat-trick, scoring 2 very, very late goals, completing his hat-trick in the 90th minute. Sheffield United, 1-0 loss. The man, the absolute cheat code in the Championship, Patrick Catrone, getting himself on the score sheet. Brentford, 4-1 win. Edmondson and Croissant getting themselves on the score sheet again. And then against Cardiff, a 3-2 win, where they gave us a little bit of a scare as Kiefer Moore scored in the 91st minute. But thankfully, we didn't let any other goals go in. And that did mean a 3-2 victory. So in this game against Preston today, I expect us to win. I won't lie. I expect us to have a pretty comfortable victory against a very, very poor Preston side, where they currently situate in 23rd place with only 31 points. They look like they're going to get relegated. I mean, Huddersfield, Preston, Sheffield Wednesday look like they're going to be the 3 teams that do get relegated. But we can't afford to let complacency slip into our game, especially going into the latter stages of the year. We really don't want to be, just thinking that games are teams are easy to beat, because they're not. And it's very nice to see. I've just seen our 2 fullbacks, Harry Pickering and Marcinho, top of the assist charts. Fantastic stuff against them. Them 2 are going to performed absolutely superbly throughout the entire year. It must be said, 35 games, 12 assists, only a 6.97 rating though. And Marcinho has been our best player by an absolute country mile throughout this entire year. 33 games, 13 assists, 5 man of the matches, with a 7.19 average rating. It's going to be sad to see them go at the end of this year, but if we get into the Premier League, potentially we can buy them. I'd very much like to buy Marcinho, because I think he'll be good in the Premier League. He's not Premier League quality, but I think he's just very consistent, and he's worth 8.75 million, which is going to be a lot of money, which I don't know if we'll be able to spend. But going into today's game, we are going to stick with our strongest side possible. We're going to go with Lee Burge in goal, with Marcinho, Jimmy Dunn, Sam Hughes and Harry Pickering as your back 4. George Dobson, Swedberg, Embleton and Smallbone as the attacking quadruple. And Evan Croissant and Edmondson hopefully continuing to form their very lethal partnership with, 47 goals altogether between them. Unbelievable from them 2 there. Hopefully they can do that again today. But an away tie, you can never go into an away tie being fully confident. Obviously, without the fans, it's not going to be the same. And we hope we aren't actually got many injuries, which is quite nice. We haven't had any long-term injuries for a while, and once again, touch wood, that continues being the case. We do have a few fitness issues though. We are a little bit tired. Hopefully that doesn't come back to bite us. McGuinness and Olasunde are dropped for this game. I could probably rotate quite a lot going into the final few games, but I don't really want to risk losing any games, just because at this point in the season we can't afford to, right? Okay, so individually we'll tell all our boys that we are expecting a victory, because I'm expecting a victory. I expect us to beat these at least 3 or 4-0 at a minimum. So if we get a goal immediately, this will be great. So we do need to keep an eye on the results going on around us as well, specifically being Blackburn and Barnsley. I've just seen that Watford have overtaken West Brom. West Brom have been the best team in the Championship for the entire year. So if they don't win the title, they are going to be absolutely gutted at that. And as we are 25 minutes into the game, nothing has happened. And I don't like that at all. So we're going to take the game to them a little bit. We're going to push our line a little bit higher up, try and sort of choke them a little bit, as Marcinho with a great tackle there. He goes in crunching Bennett, and we do think he doesn't get a red card. That would have been an absolute disaster. Swedberg with a typical playmaker type ball there. Doesn't get to anyone. Marcinho doing the... Oh, he's just so good, chat. Oh, you've got to be kidding me. That was a great chance. Lovely ball from Arsenio. I've just realised I've called you all chat. Sorry, I've literally just stopped streaming on Twitch, so I can only apologise. It's a great chance there for Ferguson. A great ball by Marcinho. It doesn't come to nothing, though. Bennett on the ball here. Are we going to be able to launch a counter-attack, or are we going to... We're going to make myself look like an idiot on video, as per usual. Brown, Rafferty. We are putting a lot of pressure and giving him... And that is what we like. We want them mistakes. Smallbone. He's got the playmaking ability. Question is, has he got the technical ability? Croissant! You could literally slot it anywhere else. Literally, left or right. Learn your left and rights. Idiots, honestly. Right, we are getting a lot of chances now, and that is probably the worst throw-in we could have asked for. Dobson. Ball to Swedberg. It's got to be a header. Smallbone. Right, let's not get complacent. Hughes is able to pick it up. I think this is still a highlight. At least I expect it to be. There wasn't a clear-cut highlight there. Smallbone's getting a lot of the ball. Croissant. It's Edmondson. And Edmondson with the goal. A lovely slotted finish. I do think that it took a deflection off Furlong, which is a great name, by the way. This is some lovely football. Smallbone's been involved in everything so far. Croissant to Edmondson. And I think it does take a slight deflection, which probably takes it away from Piers there to slot it in the bottom right-hand side corner, giving us a 1-0 lead, which we desperately needed to relieve the pressure on us going into half-time. But Preston do have a chance here. Rafferty. It's a good ball, but Pickering with an absolute pump forward. And their defenders not got to it. Edmondson. It's a penalty. It's a penalty. Come on, boys. Right. Oh, chase player. Right. Goalkeeper. Lee Burge. We're too late. I was gonna be an absolute little scoundrel. Dobson with a chance to put us 2-0 up. And of course he does. It's a great penalty. A 5th goal of the season. Goalkeeper had no chance. You could put 2 keepers in goal. And he's not saving that. 2-0 going into half-time. Edmonton's having a great impact on this game so far with a goal and winning us the penalty. Come on, boys. You love to see it. Right. I'm going to say I'm very happy. Keep it going. I'm very, very happy with that. 2-0 up. Right, we're going to make some substitutions as we get into the 60th minute. I think I'm going to bring on Jordan Rossiter on for Embleton, probably. I'll bring Lyndon Gooch on as well, just to try and make sure we don't risk fate with any injuries. Now, if we do go 3-0 up, I will make some substitutions immediately, I think. Hughes, Jimmy Dunn, Dobson, ball to Swedberg. Another... Oh, he's so good at that play. Good balls. Oh, Son. He's had so many chances in this game. Chance here for... Oh, don't you dare. I talked about complacency, and that is the complacency that we wanted to avoid. I mean, it's just a mix-up between Jimmy Dunn and Sam Hughes, a partnership that's been so strong for us over the past 3 years, and it just seems to have disappeared there, and that does put the pressure on us a little bit more immediately. So I think we're going to start time wasting. Just try and see this game out. If we can get a third, that will be a lovely cushion. Oh, my word. Right, boys, what are we doing? Jesus Christ. Right, we've got to focus. We're just losing our composure here. Jesus Christ. Preston are taking the game to us here. Wow. Right, we really need to focus here, boys. Final 10 minutes of the game, and we are looking like we should come out of this with a victory. I'm going to start playing for set pieces, I think. We are going to make a few substitutions. We're going to bring on Embleton. We'll bring on Velovsky for Harry Pickering, and we'll bring on Lyndon Gooch for Smallbone as well. Just get some fresh legs. Hopefully he'll see us out into the game. And we deserve to win here, don't get me wrong. And if we don't come out of this with all 3 points, I'll be bitterly disappointed. But it does look like we are going to. Yes, we needed that. We desperately needed that victory. I don't care that we conceded. I don't care that we nearly drew that game. All that matters is that we have won. And Barnsley looked like they drew. No, they lost. Massive. Absolutely huge for us. Barnsley lost and have put their playoff hopes in a little bit of a predicament here. And that does give us a little bit of relief that we've got a bit of a points gap. And we go into the final 7 games with dreams, right? With absolute dreams, and hopefully we can meet them dreams. So we are going to come back for, as promised, the final 2 games of the season. Can we make it into the playoffs and reach the dazzling heights of the Premier League? We'll have to wait and see. We've got a few games in between now and then. Hopefully it goes well. Touch wood once again. Fingers crossed, everyone. But thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button, that like button, that notification bell if you have enjoyed this video. And, you know, leave a comment. Why not? Leave a comment. Let me know what you think of the season so far. But thank you so much for watching. Take care of yourselves. Have a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you're on the world. Stay safe, and I'll see you in a very exciting next episode. Goodbye.